Hello RKPS, how are you all? Well, I know you all will be safe and sound. And I, Manisha, your English teacher, welcome you all to RKP online classes. I know you all must have enjoyed your vacation time pretty much, besides doing your vacation homework. So, today we are going to discuss our practice assignment. See, in practice assignment, we are going to discuss only those questions. Basically, here today I discuss only those questions which were somewhat different, which were different from the route, right? Which we have already discussed in our classroom or during the other tests. That won't be discussed again. Okay. So, some questions, answers you will get in written form in your group after this video, and some questions are there which I need to discuss with you all, that are in literature part. There are certain questions which I want to discuss with you all. First of all, in long question number second. First question is pretty easy, you could do it easily from your book. Second question is, how did Annie Frank outsmart her math teacher Mr. Keesing, or describe how Annie paid Mr. Keesing in the same point and defeated him in his own game. So before I answer you this question, let me tell you some important words here. First word used in the question is outsmart. Outsmart means to defeat. Outsmart, outshine means when somebody is smart, you are trying to be even smarter than him, right? So that means to outsmart. And in second part, we have used these two idioms. To pay in the same point, right? To pay in the same point means to seek revenge on someone, to take revenge from someone by treating them in the same way as they have treated you. How here Annie took her revenge? Mr. Keesing wanted to teach Annie a lesson. Why? Because she was talkative. So what she did? She also outsmarted. She also, cancelled his each and every action. She also retaliated his actions, right? And when more is given here, to defeat someone in his own game. That means to use the same methods that were used by them. It means what method is used by one person, you are defeating him using his own methods, right? So I hope the meaning of idioms and the word is clear to you. Now let me discuss the main points related to the questions. The question was, how did Annie outsmart her math teacher Mr. Keesing? Basically, Mr. Keesing was annoyed, was irritated with her continuous habit of talking, with her loquacious nature, right? So he gave her punishment to write essay, not even one, first of one, then second, and then third one also, right? And every time Annie outsmarted him, every time Annie came up with such a good answer, with such a brilliant essay, that he was just dumbstruck to read it, that how could anybody write so bravely, write so intelligently, write so smartly, right? So you have, as it's a long question, so you have to describe it in the same way. You have to describe about the first essay, then about the second essay, then about the third essay. And as we know, after her third essay, when she had written on the poem Quack Quack 1, after that, in fact, Mr. Keesing even gave her permission to talk, right? So that was who won? Yes, anyone. Okay. So this was the answer to your first question. Now second question which I want to discuss here is your question number 3. Sometimes significant, seemingly insignificant events have a deep and far-reaching significance. Discuss in relation to the poem Dust of Snow and the Bowl poem. See, this question was directly given from your BPC book. So that's why I specially mentioned in the bracket that please don't copy it, because you need to understand the question first. Here our theme is that even if something is insignificant, something is unimportant, still it can teach you a lesson. For example, if we talk about the poem The Dust of Snow, in that poem, what happened with the poet? Nothing special, just some snowflakes fell from a tree that was shook by just a crow, and that dust of snow changed the mood of the poet. That dust of snow uplifted the mood of the poet. How small act it was, still it worked wonders for the poet, right? Similarly, in the bowl poem, what happened with the boy? Nothing simple. His ball was there, it just went into the water and he lost his ball. It's not quite such a big event that he lost some big thing. It was casual thing. We lose things daily almost every time, but we keep on mourning on that. No, but it was an important event of that boy's life. Why? Because it taught him an important lesson of his life, that he needs to be responsible for his things. After this loss, he got his maturity, right? So that's why this is important. Two long questions also you can go for yourself. I need not discuss that. Now coming on to the short questions. First question you can do yourself. Second one, how did the town look on Christmas Eve? Question you could answer easily. If you have again tried to find it out from your book. This is given in your 6th chapter, page number 78. Hanji. So the answer is, the question was, how did the town look on the Christmas Eve? On Christmas Eve, the whole town was immersed fully in the aura of Christmas, in the festive mood. The houses were decorated beautifully. How? With wreaths and holly in the windows. Christmas trees were stacked outside the shops, and even in the windows there were candies which were hung, as well as your shiny transparent paper flowers were also strung. So overall, the light shining everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. Okay. Now next question, where did Wanda live? What kind of place was it? We all know where did Wanda live? Wanda lived in Bogenside, and this Bogenside was a place which was quite different from the city. It was a place which was meant only for the poor people, and even the weather at this place was different from the whole city. And if we describe particularly the house of Wanda, the house of Wanda was of white color, which was surrounded by wisps of old grass here and there along the pathway, like thin kitchen. And the house and the sparse little yard looked shabby but clean. That's it. That's what you have to describe in your question number 3. Rest of the questions were pretty easy. I don't doubt any one of you that you could not have attempted it. Still, if you feel like there is any doubt, just feel free to ask me. Now question number D, which was related to your vocabulary notebook. That also must have been done. You must have searched your dictionary, or you must have googled it, right? Then next question was, using the given words frame a story also. Now many students message me, ma'am, which words? But these words which were related to your vocabulary, these all words for C section, basically different words were given. For A and B, different words were there. So using those words you are supposed to frame a story. So let me see what story has been framed by you all, and whichever will be the best story I'll share with you all in A section as well as in another 2 sections also. Now next question is, there are certain pages which I have given to you from BBC. You will get those answers. Now comes our part F, that is writing part. Now we will discuss our writing part.